Okay, so let's see what the message we have for today. I know that yesterday I ended off on a Leo Virgo. I'm gonna just say summertime, um, because the major arcanas for it was like month to month to month. So I think Cancer. It was Cancer, Leo, Virgo, right? And the theme was love to gain and gain to love, and it was all about what people were willing to access in order to get the love and what people were doing in regards to other people's love. It's like if the person has love for you, there will be a person that will be taking advantage of that love for gain. If that person um, or that person that has love for another person, the person that's in love will go and seek to gain to have a person. So it's kind of like buying into love, or like buying love, or trying to purchase love, or it's a situation where somebody's trying to utilize love to have like access to material wealth. But that was that's the theme of the summer that was under judgment, and it was being judged based off its toxicity. So came up judgment and the devil. It was being judged based off its toxicity, and the things people are willing to do, which is I would call the seven deadly sins. Turn it. Man, she's coughing. So if you the seven deadly sins, some people will act out. They'll be wrathful, rage, violent, domestic violence. Some people be very jealous, possessive, and controlling. Some people be very envious of what another person's got. Like they'll seek to win by breaking things up or tearing another structure elsewhere down. Or tearing down or self-saboteur, tearing down their own structures, because a lot of people do that too. A lot of people just don't want to be in with somebody who is in a relationship. A lot of people want to come out of a relationship to go be with somebody else, and a lot of the times they'll self-sabotage the stability in the household they're in. They'll wreck their own home to go and build another one, and then you have gluttony, wanting your Kate and Edith too. Not your cake and eat it. Kate and Edith too. So there's a lot of people that want more than one person, even though they have issued themselves to being through verbal, emotional, and through trust, a monogamy contract with somebody. And what's good for the goose is not good for the gander. So it's one of them things where they get in the monogamy. You want to be poly, but you put somebody into monogamy. You go with somebody in monogamy terms of manipulation. I hate manipulation. There's a lot of talking about the manipulation tactics that are done in the love dynamics of this world right now on podcasts. Not coming 100% transparent of what you want and allowing free will of choice for another person to make the free will of choice to be or not to be. You feel me? But and it's a lot of laziness, not willing to be spontaneous, not willing to grow, not willing to cultivate and nurture a relationship. Wanting to be in a relationship, have a trophy piece could also fall into that category, because a lot of people get into a relationship and they just put a person on the back burner and everything else then becomes first, because now that they got it, they don't want to do the work to keep it. But it's also about being fooled as well when it comes to that, because a lot of people will do the work to take you away from somebody. They'll do the work to keep you away from somebody. Like I said, gain to love and love to gain. It's also about you weaponizing love itself, and to in order to be paired with somebody that you may or may not be compatible with type of energy, because a lot of people do that too. A lot of people get in relationships and do too much for the wrong person, that or the person that's not wrong in the sense of them being a bad person, but more like wrong as it's not your person's. Because as I said in my other tarot channel before it got shut down, you'll find out there's a lot of kings and queens in this world, but every king that you see is not your king as a queen, and every queen you see is not your queen as a king. You have to get in where you fit in. It means that sometimes we meet people in this world that have it, but they're not ours, you know, and vice versa. Sometimes people meet us and we're wonderful and they're wonderful, and we're just not interested because that's not our person, you know, that's not who we're supposed to be with. So it's called mismatch. It's simple, mismatch. And a lot of people keep a mismatch because they're afraid to step out into the unknown. There's a lot there. And then you have lust, and a lot of people say sexual desires, but lust is just a desirous, a lower vibrational desire, because you can have a prideful lust. You have prideful lust. You have prideful lust. You have a lust where you only desire to do things that gas you up in life. You only desire to be connected to people that gas you up in life, in the sense of like they'll lie to you. Narcissism usually falls in there. You have like a lust for things, places, people, all types of things. So it's kind of like there's, you know, but usually falls into those seven. So we're gonna start. And Jonathan brought David to Saul, and he was in his presence as in times past, and there was war again. And David went out and fought with the Philistines and slew them with great slaughter, and they fled from him. And the evil spirit from the Lord was upon Saul, as he sat in his house with his javelin in his hand, and David played with his hand. And Saul sought to smite David even to the wall with the javelin, but he slipped away out of Saul's presence, and he smote the javelin into the wall, and David fled and escaped that night. So this is kind of odd. I'm getting here. This could be like a group of males. A group of males, and they're going through some type of spiritual warfare. So there could be a group of males going through some type of spiritual warfare, and one of the biggest things here is they could be like smoking. With the javelin and knocking it out of one's hand, or this could be a javelin, this could be like a cigarette, this could be like a smoking habit. Whatever the case is, there's also this energy of just like somebody could have a gun. Somebody could be like contemplating harming somebody, or some type of, they want to hurt somebody, or they like, and they're with their friends or their homies or something like that, and somebody's like, no. Somebody's like takes it out of his hand and say, what you gonna do with this? What you gonna do with this? As if it's a weapon. Somebody's like taking the weapon out of somebody else's hand, like, what are you gonna do with this? And in a sense, somebody took it upon themselves to get the weapon away from the person, because maybe the person was going to commit suicide, because something like from an evil spirit had overcome somebody, and they meant to go out and cause harm or do harm unto themselves. And this could have started like a smoke session. This could have been like some a group of like males. They were sitting around, maybe drinking, smoking, getting intoxicant, and in the midst of all the conversation and of all the trauma of life events, one pulled out and exposed that they had a weapon of some sort, and you know, how a male can get another male, kind of like an energy of like somebody didn't necessarily convince them to stop, but more than likely just usurp control. And it could also have been a conversation with the Knight of Swords, because sometimes the greatest weapon is your mouth. The greatest weapon could be your mouth. So somebody could have been sitting there and they were smoking and they got, and started talking a lot of smack amongst these males, just talking a lot of smack. Barbaric male behavior. This is heavy on the male energy. It's kind of funny because it ended off last night on the female energy, but tonight it's on the, and somebody just started talking mad crazy. Like, they were talking mad crazy, like they were gonna go and do the ABC, and it just, let's see what type of crazy talk it was. Ace of Wands, Wheel of Fortune. They could be talking about how they was gonna go and fuck their baby mama up, or I'm getting heavy on fuck their baby mama up, or drive past some empress house and in her life, or in her, like a homicide, suicide. 611 is the suicide hotline. I do not condone these behaviors, nor do I condone or am I promoting any type of violence, but this is what this reading is saying, that somebody had a mind for violence, or this could a mind for and these two men, that could have been, that's one that's one aspect, but I'm also getting that there's also like two men in this that have that they were roasting somebody's woman or something, and that was going to make somebody have a mind for violence. So there could have been a lot said. There's so many scenarios coming out here, but there's three men, and one of the scenarios is, I want to hurt myself, or one of the scenarios. Now, I do not condone this. Please call for help for suicide line is 611. But this is one of those situations of somebody wanting to harm themselves, and then there's another situation of somebody wanting to cause harm, and then there's a situation of somebody wanting to harm two males over what was said over this woman. Maybe a baby mama or something like that with the Empress card here. And if we take away the harming factor, this is a bunch of men talking about who they want to go and poke. This could be sexual. Sitting around talking about who they want to go and poke. One could be talking about he wants to go to his baby mama. He wants to still hit up his baby mama. You got one that's like probably sitting here talking about they want to just hit up their baby mama and tell them the truth and probably get back in on their good graces with the Wheel of Fortune and the World here. Because something can no longer be manipulated. The manipulation is over. Somebody can't, they gotta come clean. They gotta come right. Get into the Zodiac houses later. Put one more card. Yeah. They gotta come clean. They gotta come right. That means they can't come with addictions, toxicities, whatever, the mental illness. They can't come with that. There's a baby mama that wants to do this. If you read it afterwards, there could be a feminine, Taurus, Libra, Pisces. They can't come with our Aries, Taurus, Libra, Pisces, Aries, Scorpio. Very well aware that these males, or this somebody could like, this could be like a baby mama, and in a sense of all the things that she has been through, she had to close the cycle out because of these attributes. But if we're looking at it, I'm getting heavy that this is a baby mama that had to close out these attributes. Like, and there could be 3 males in the past that's like, you gotta come correct. Like, you gotta come correct or move on, because you got other things to prioritize here. Like, somebody might need to prioritize, getting their funds up. Like, it's like you want to go back to a situation, but the situation you want to go back to, you're not prepared for 5 of Pentacles, Chariot, 5 of Pentacles. You're not really prepared to take on that level of responsibility anyway. Like, that's a lot of responsibility to have to go through. Like, somebody has to go through a shamanic journey, like a whole full revamp of self, in order to even begin to have access of some sort, to even be able to call somebody. They have to have no ego. Kali Ma, the Empress, they can't have no ego involved. They can't be shape-shifting, and this is the type of situation you can't go in and apologize, and then 10 months later you're going back to doing the barbaric behavior. But at the same time, on the basis of the argument of the men, this is a situation where somebody needs to call the suicide hotline, and you need to just go ahead and tell them to call the suicide hotline. And then on top of that, somebody needs to put the substance down, because it's causing some form of psychosis. And somebody needs to stop doing this ride or die type of talking, because what's the purpose of riding? Why should it be ride or die, right? Why should it be ride or die? Because you got death and the ride, chariot, and all that. Why should it be ride or die if the only place this Empress can go is to hell or a grave? Like, people like, somebody like could say their baby mama need to go to hell or a grave, Scorpionic energy, but they need to stop that as well. But that's crazy talk, like, but just crazy thinking. But at the same time, there's this energy of just like, nobody wants to live their life with somebody in struggle love. Nobody wants to live their life with somebody who's going to literally there is no ride, it's only die. Like, this is the new thing, is you're not offering ride, you're offering only the death part. The drugs, the addictions, the fighting, the weaponry, the hanging out in the crowds and talking about who you gonna hit up, and take out and all that. Like, all of this is like YN type stuff. Like, this is that situation where you want somebody to be with you, but where is the riding part, and the growing part, and the ascending part, and the loving part? Because the only thing that seems to be offered is death and hell. And it's like this energy of wanting to manipulate somebody into accepting death or hell as an aspect of a lifelong relationship or love. So we're not gonna pull my card inside. That is a conversation that needs to be had. 6 of Cups, yes, that is a conversation that needs to be had. Where are you leading somebody? Where are you leading them? Why is it that you're gung-ho on calling love a road to death or hell, and wanting somebody to be boo-boo the fool and get on the road of death or hell? Why would somebody want to do that? like your life is messed up. You have nothing to offer. You, in terms of necessity, needs, food, water, shelter. You're everything you got going around you. Somebody might get shot for. Somebody might get AIDS or STD, or then your actions, your anger, your output, your rage, your whatever you're doing right? Somebody could end up having high blood pressure or a stroke dealing with you. like somebody get high blood pressure or a stroke dealing with your ass, or your unhealthy ass eating habits, your cleanliness levels, your hygiene levels. Somebody gets end up getting like sugar and all that stuff, like stuff like that. You not or they die from getting a chronic condition or ailment because there's no discipline within the self, but somebody wants to trap somebody in their undisciplined lifestyles. And that's a big thing that is happening in the world. It's like wanting to trap somebody in your undisciplined, non-holistic lifestyles where your mind, your body, and your soul and your spirit is not aligned to being in the greatest format that it needs to be in. And you want to bring somebody in on your chronic clinical conditions. It's like having anxiety and depression and wanting to be in a relationship. No, you shouldn't want to be in a relationship. You should want to be in a therapeutic office, a therapist's office. You should be wanting to get some spiritual consultation about meditation practices and some breathing exercises on how you can center and control that moment where you're starting to have panic and anxiety attacks. Like stress balls, something. Same with like other forms of like conditions, like stuff that you could be born with. There's stuff that you could be born with. One of the ODD, one of the classic things, you could be born with some form of ADHD or ODD, that or something like that. These are things you have to get in control before you invite somebody in your life. And then there's things that come later on with time and are exacerbated by certain things that we intake in our body, intoxicants and Mary Jane and alcohol and whatever recreational use, because this is a DARE page. I dare you to go get rehab, because those things induce psychosis. Drug-induced psychosis is very, very real, and drug-induced psychosis can literally happen with marijuana, because the THC levels in marijuana nowadays are so freaking high that they can induce psychosis. So it's a situation where the cannabinoids and are also synthetic. So there's a situation with that. So you're dealing with this, and you got all these things happening to you, and you got angel dusted or some shit like that, and you have to you got to heal. Or let's say you just had a traumatization. You're traumatized, and you want to date a sister, but you don't like black women. Like, you gotta heal from whatever traumatized you, because there's 50 billion black women in the planet. I'm not gonna let 10 of them fuck it up for me with dating black. I don't let a drop in the ocean determine that if it's salty or not. I'm not gonna, I put my finger in the ocean and go, the whole thing is salty. No. Like, you have to test it. Run it through, because you think you can sit there and think you're at the ocean and find out you're at a river with the stalactites creating salt right here in the corner of the river, and you sitting there thinking a drop, thinking you're at the ocean, just to find out you're at a river. Like, it's stuff like that. You have to do your research thoroughly. You have to have an open heart on stop having narrow ass opinions and mindsets about love. And stop offering death and obsession and chains and struggle or this submittance. Stop that. It's not helping you. It's not helping you engage in a healthy love. It's time for certain ideologies to die. Rigid thoughts and belief systems. Certain things need to just let it go, because right now, whatever works. And faith without works is what's dead. And so, I'm going to go on that one. I'm tired.